So, the Green Party have released their manifesto. Unlike the other parties, their manifesto is pretty concise, only 26 pages. However, regardless of this, only 27% of people read parties' manifestos. So let me save you some time, and I'll run you through the key policies of the Green Party's 2017 manifesto. They want to introduce a wealth cap on the top 1% of earners, as well as reinstating a higher level of corporation tax for large businesses. The Green Party wants to move towards starting a universal basic income, which gives everyone a set amount of money every month. This is actually something we're going to make a whole video about after the election. They want to phase in a 4-day working week, as well as abolishing 0-hour contracts. The Greens want to increase minimum wage to £10 an hour. They also want to require that a minimum of 40% of all members of companies' boards are women. The Greens want to introduce an Environmental Protection Act to safeguard and restore our environment, as well as protecting and advancing biodiversity, promoting sustainable food and farming, and ensuring animal protection. They also want to make communities safer by investing in insulation and flood management. They also want active ongoing cooperations with businesses and other countries to limit global temperature increases to well below 2 degrees, aiming for 1.5 degrees. The Green Party wants to replace fracking, coal power stations, and subsidies to fossil fuels and nuclear with subsidies for renewable energy. They also want to create a new Clean Air Act, expanding and funding a mandatory clean air zone network. The Greens want to hold a referendum on the detail of the final deal which is negotiated with the EU. This vote will also have the option to reject the deal and to remain in the EU. They also want to continue with the freedom of movement for EU citizens, as well as staying in the single market. The Green Party want to roll back privatisation of the NHS to ensure that health and dental services are always publicly provided and funded. They want to bring mental health care in line with physical health care, as well as introducing mental health awareness training within the private sector. They also want to invest in social care for the elderly and those who need it. The Greens want to bring energy, water, railways, buses and the Royal Mail back into public ownership. Greens want to properly fund schools so that real-term spending per pupil increases and is protected. They also want to scrap tuition fees for university, as well as restoring the education maintenance allowance. In addition to this, they want to start free, universal early education and childcare for all children, with formal education starting at age 7. The Greens want to reinstate housing benefits for under 21s. They also want to scrap age-related wage bans which allow younger people to be paid less than older people. They commit to providing more funding for sexual health awareness, as well as removing VAT from sanitary products. They will also introduce political education in schools and lowering the voting age to 16. The Green Party wants to introduce rent controls to limit the cost of housing. They also want to start a major programme to build affordable, zero-carbon homes, including 100,000 social rented homes each year by 2022. They want to significantly improve housing choice for deaf, disabled and older people by requiring all councils to appropriately plan for their housing needs. The Green Party will cancel the TRIDENT programme, which they say will save at least £110 billion. They also want to start humane integration and asylum systems, as well as increasing the overseas aid budget from 0.7% of GDP to 1%. They would also introduce ethical foreign policy, which builds capacity for conflict resolution. The Greens would implement a UK-wide strategy to tackle gender-based violence, including domestic violence, rape, sexual abuse, FGM and trafficking. The Green Party want to introduce a new elected second chamber to replace the House of Lords. They also want to give power to local communities by allowing for 40% of the local electorate to secure a referendum on local government decisions or to recall their MP. In addition, they want to end the sale of personal data such as health and tax records for commercial or other ends. The Greens plan to make public transport fully accessible and step-free, as well as phasing in free local public transport for students, young people, people with disabilities and older people. In addition, they want to invest in regional rail links and the electrification of existing rail lines, instead of spending money on HS2 and the National Major Roads Programme. If you want to compare this manifesto to the other major parties, find the links to the videos we made about all the other manifestos in the comments below or by going to tldrnews.co.uk.